Before starting to examine the numerous concrete variations, I would like to draw some sort of map of the territory and also explain what makes the classical Sicilian similar and also different to the Najdorf and the Scheveningen. Actually, I would call this group of variations the classical Sicilians to make a distinctions with the Dragon, the Simagin, the Sveshnikov, the Kalashnikov, the Paulsen, the Taimanov. So the main difference is that instead of having moved a pawn on move 5, black developed a knight. Well, it is so important. I mean, okay, from the point of view of development, black is better off here than in the Najdorf and Scheveningen. But is it so important? Because most likely e6 and a6 will be played at some point. And maybe knight c6 is not so flexible because in some other lines it could go to d7 or a6. Well, it's always a question what it means being flexible. You cannot stay 100% flexible, but black could develop it in a moment where white has to take a decision. He has to take the basic decision which system to choose. So from this point of view, the light pressure exerted in the center is quite important. One big difference with respect to the other classic system is that against moves like bishop e2, let's take it, but this applies also to f3, g3, h3, and f4. Against all these moves, black can react with e5. This is in the spirit of the Najdorf variation, but there is one strong limitation. Knight b3, which somehow is a nice knight regrouping, is somehow causing quite some trouble, because at a later stage black can use this plan, which would actually gain a whole tempo over the Najdorf and the Scheveningen. Because in the Najdorf, this pawn would reach a5 in 2 moves. It is true, this is not the main variation, but it's a variation that has been tried in the past. So with an extra tempo, it's clear that it should be very good. And with respect to the Scheveningen, there is this gain of time, which is also important. So this somehow inhibits white from playing all the mentioned moves. With bishop e3, frankly speaking, I think that e5 is just as good, but knight g4 is stronger than in the Najdorf because of the pressure on d4. So this restricts the area of the main variations very much. Well, there is bishop c4, which, well, actually this position is classified under Scheveningen ECO code, but I would consider it's classical Sicilian because the knight is already here. Here there is this sharp line, which I have to be well prepared against, and then the absolutely main line is bishop g5, the Richter-Rauser attack. I have chosen this tabia as our main weapon, and actually this the major part of videos will be dedicated to this position. This is the absolutely main line when you play the classic Sicilian. Of course, if you choose this system, because there are all kind of other systems that black can try against bishop g5. But once we chose this one, it's the most important tabia in the whole repertoire. So this was the general presentation. There are two things I have to mention about the way this DVD is created. First of all, I have covered in detail the really sharp variations, this tabia and the bishop c4 followed by long castle, and all the other lines, the positional lines, the side lines, I have covered them in a more general way. There is some more information about them in the attached file. with illustrative games and analysis. But the critical lines are covered quite extensively, so that you don't get big surprises over the board, hopefully. There is always room, in chess there is always room for something new. And secondly, I have chosen the interactive format for this DVD. There will be no separate file for exercises. Most of the theoretical videos will have 1 up to 3 questions, which you are invited to answer. And I wanted to make it more interesting, more fun, and hopefully also more instructive. So this having been said, I invite you to make the next step, the theoretical part.